All right, my friends, how are you today? Aaron here bringing you some honest astrology. Now, this is streaming on YouTube. I also put this stuff out on Facebook, Instagram, maybe TikTok. I just downloaded that program. So we'll see. Either way, if you're finding on the social media, you can always go to my channel on YouTube and watch this at Aaron Eschenburg. Pretty easy. So we just had a big full moon, and there's a lot of conspiracies going on around this full moon. And it's been a hot minute since I put out a video talking about astrology. And we need to talk about it. There's a lot going on upstairs, right? So we've had the sun in Taurus. We just had this full moon over in Scorpio. Let me show you the chart. You can take a look at it here. And there we go. All right, so this was yesterday at 1 p.m., about 24 hours ago, and that's fine. You know, we too oftentimes we anticipate these energies, but they don't exist until after the fact, right? So we live too much of our lives, in that anxiety of anticipating what's going to happen. I want to talk about that for a second. I'm going to come right back here. One of my friends reached out to me, thanks Tony, and shared some videos about these 3 days, these apocalyptic 3 days of darkness that these Christians are talking about. And I feel like I'm going to talk a lot more about that stuff. I've talked a lot about that over the years if you've been following this channel about astrotheology. And it's like it's not real, right? And some of these videos that came out like a year ago predicting how in May 12th and 13th we're going to have these 3 days where cars wouldn't start and lights wouldn't turn on. You could only use special candles, right? It's just like, this is just religious hogwash, and it's absolute garbage. It's just lies, and these individuals that are putting this out there, there are these prophets, right? There are these Christian prophets that are guiding the sheeple of society, and the people are just hanging on to every word that these individuals are saying. These prophets that are prophesizing these 3 days as according to the Bible and Exodus and stuff. And it's like when you read the Exodus post or the Exodus quote, it's like the moon or the sun turns black, the moon turns to blood. Jesus rises after that 3 days. Like, well, when's the moon black? It's an eclipse. When is the moon red? During an eclipse. When is the sun black? During an eclipse. What is the sun? What is Jesus? Jesus is a personified allegory of the sun that lights the world, whose reflection walks on water. Okay, and right now we're at the end of the age of Pisces. Okay, this has been predicted and talked about for a long time. It's the end of an age, the beginning of a new age. And you and we're here to usher in this new age. That's why things feel so funky, feel so off. That's why there's an old era that's holding on for dear life, and a new era that's pushing through, that's like the weed that's growing out of the cement. You're not going to stop it, right? And Uranus, the unstoppable force, moving its way through Taurus right now, where our sun is, and we're going to have this Sun-Uranus conjunction here in the next couple of days. Let's come back to the chart, right? And this is Uranus is the breakthrough, the eureka moment, the aha moment. And what is that doing here in Taurus? As many astrologers, including myself, have talked about, breaking of the patriarchy. Now, what is this patriarchy that we're breaking out of right now? And it has nothing to do with being a masculine-dominated society or a feminine-dominated matriarchal society, okay? We don't need either. We don't need a masculine-run society. We don't need a feminine-run society. What we need is a society of people that are working together, that understand each other's, that don't understand each other's differences respectfully, right? And can communicate and collaborate for the greater good of us all. That's where we're headed to. That's the age of Aquarius and the community-driven Aquarius. It's not, the queen or the king. This is old, dated, outdated mentality. And a lot of our issues, when we're looking here in the United States, I can't speak to every other country on the planet, but the United States, when we're breaking the patriarchy and the patriarchal concepts that are seemingly have a grip on us, it's religion, my friends. It's the religious grips and these religious concepts that have been shaping our society for 2,000 years. And if we go back to Judaism, this is 4,000 years. This is a long time of not respecting the ages appropriately. So we're entering a new age, which comes new set of rules for humanity. We're not in the belief stage of Pisces ruled by that's no longer where we're at. And so it's naturally that things are going to fall apart and things are going to feel a little uncomfortable. So as we're breaking these patriarchal concepts, we're breaking these boundaries and barriers tied to the religions, right? Like how people get married and what is marriage, and is marriage just for a man and a woman, right? And it's like we've opened up this dialogue, we've opened up these boundaries to where it's like anybody can get married, right? It doesn't have to be just between a man and a woman. So these things change. That's the patriarchy. It's not a male-dominated thing. I mean, we can look at patriarchal as male and masculine and matriarchal as feminine, but it's really the religious stuff that we're breaking free from, okay? And this is how people should get married and stay together till death do us part. And if you don't, you're a terrible person. It's like we have too much of the fox teaching the beaver. I didn't mean to say, I'm just using random animals. But meaning like, it's like the beaver's saying, well, fox, why are you digging a hole? It's like, well, foxes have dens. Foxes dig holes. And the beaver's like, no, you should build a dam like I'm doing over here. And the fox is like, no, you need to be more like me. And then you get the duck-billed platypus talking to the penguin, and the penguin's just like, well, the reason you didn't find a mate yet is because look at you're slouching in your posture. You need to walk more upright like me. You need to be more like me. And it's like we have this almost ridiculous ego that's happening right now with people, all of us. This ridiculous ego that says what I desire in humanity, what I desire in masculine, what I desire in feminine, I'm going to project that onto the entire world, and I'm going to share these things as if you're supposed to now reflect and respond back to my projections. This is delusional. On both sides, the masculine and the feminine, this is delusional. So we have to kind of honor everybody where they're at in their own process. Honor that there are many different kinds of masculine, there are many different kinds of feminine. And that the red spectrum, and I don't mean this politically, just saying like a color spectrum, the red spectrum of masculine and feminine, which align harmoniously. If you're the blue, let's say yellow spectrum of masculine and feminine, which could be anything, right? These are it's arbitrary. Your ideals aren't going to necessarily align with that of the red, or that of the green, or that of the purple. So it's like our ideals that we desire for ourselves, and that we say this, if you say to me, Aaron, what is a woman? What my concept of a woman is, and what of that of which I desire, it does not mean anything for my neighbor Ted or Timmy or Jason or whomever. Like their idea of a woman is very different. So it's like we're breaking these concepts, right? Breaking through these concepts that are holding us back. And so coming back to the chart here, what the heck is going on? We have, I'm going to talk about everything, not just this full moon here. It's been a couple of months since I've been talking about astrology. The full moon is going to be the last bit I'm going to get to. All right. So let's start right here with the North Node in Pisces. Now it's only 6 degrees in, not even 6 degrees into its journey, 18-month journey through Pisces. And Pisces is about belief on one hand. We have to have belief. We have to have faith that we're headed in the right direction. That's what the North Node is the dragon's head going in this direction. We have to have faith that we're going in the right direction. And Saturn here is saying like, yeah, you need to have that faith. That's mandatory. This isn't an optional thing. It's mandatory for you to have faith and for you to believe that humanity is headed in the right direction, even if you don't understand it. Okay, there's faith and belief, blind faith and trust happening here. With the South Node being in Virgo, which I don't have the South Node on the chart, but it's always directly across from the North Node. Let me put my phone on silent when we finish this video. The South Node over here in Virgo is judgment. Virgo is very specific, okay? And part of this is like being less judgmental, my friends. We don't have all the answers. We don't know. We're not God. You're a part of God. God is experiencing itself through you, through your consciousness, through your smile, through your eyes, right? We're all a part of God. But we're not God. We're not the ones creating the big master plan here. There is some sort of a creator that's putting all of this in motion. Something is sustaining the universe and keeping it in motion. Something is not giving up on us. Something that's beyond our control, beyond our understanding and our abilities, is sustaining all of life and keeping all of this in motion. Unconditionally loving us, and doesn't matter what we're doing down here on planet Earth, it's never dimming its light or saying, I'm not going to work as hard today. I'm not going to shine my light and produce those grapes or produce those flowers, right? It's unconditional. And we are being very judgmental. We are being asked by the universe, by the creator, according to the astrology that we're being shown, to be less judgmental, to be more in line with faith, a bit of blind faith. We don't know how we're going to get through this chapter, but we are. And our country is very divided here in the United States between politics right now. And the left seems to know everything and the right seems to know everything. And it's like, we're, you know, at least on one hand, there's prosperity. And on the left side, where there's like a huge lack of prosperity and there's just anger, we really have to look into the mirror right now. And it's just like, you're not the president, and you didn't do things in your life to put you in that table. You didn't earn a seat at that table. You haven't built your life to sit there. And if you did, you'd be there, but you didn't. You're where you're at. And it's like honoring where we're at. I saw this post recently. I put it on my Facebook. I put it on Facebook, and it was like, I saw this thing. It was just like, Elon Musk, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, is he doing a good job? And all these people are responding. Some people were like, yeah, 10 out of 10. Some people were like minus 1,000, right? It's like, it's very odd for us to put so much judgment on other people. And when we reverse and look into the mirror and say, Aaron Eschenburg, are you doing a good job on a scale of 1 to 10, right? Like how easily I can sit here and judge, yeah, that painting this, and oh, that architecture design, and I would have built the car like this, and oh, I would have made the pass like this, and that guy was wide open, and Brick Hands over here didn't catch the ball to make the shot for the Pistons team. I would have done it like this. Like, so we have all of these expectations and ideas. It's like, you're not on the team. You didn't get thrown the ball. You know, but yet you have an opinion about it, and you're allowed to have an opinion and your own ways of how you would go about it. Like, we need those things. At the same time, we have to have the understanding that we're not in that position. We're not getting paid those dollars because we didn't put in the work to get us there, or that's not our life's path. So we have to eat some humble pie. For first and foremost, eating some humble pie of one, I don't create the wind, I don't create the storms, I don't create the sun, I didn't create this entire thing. So having a little bit of hands off as far as dictating how this goes and what is right and what is wrong, we need to focus on ourselves, right? And that's what the astrology is telling us right now, with one, Neptune being in just moved into Aries, with Venus being in Aries, Chiron's still in Aries. Mercury has just moved through the past month and is now in Taurus. So let's talk about Aries for a moment, where Neptune has been in Pisces for 16 years, my friends. It's the black hole in the black hole, adding confusion on top of confusion. And when you're asking for a legitimate answer, you're getting a multiple choice question again. You're like, can I just please get a yes or no, left or right? And it's just like, well, it's not just left or right, it's up or down or diagonal. You know, it's just like, oh my God. We had faith in our government. We had faith that somebody else was coming to save us. We have faith that Jesus is coming to save us, right? So many people have faith that, the return of our Savior. Once the evil villain is going to be put to shame, and the return of our Lord and Savior is coming, and we're all going to, and those non-believers and the demonic people and all of these people are going to, and Jesus is going to come and is just going to wash them away with light, and then we're all going to be saved, and us Christians are going to go on and. This is delusions. This is absolute delusions. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude to you. It's delusional. It's just delusional. No one's coming to save you. The sun returns every year. I've talked about astrotheology 1,000 times on this channel, and I'll do it 1,000 more times. Jesus is a personified allegory of the sun that lights the world, whose reflection walks on water. The really quick story: Jesus born in Capricorn, December 25th. Then he meets John the Baptist. Then he meets the two Fishman brothers. Then the sun passes over the equator, and we have the burnt offering, the sacrifice, where the lion meets the lamb. The lion, of course, is the sun. The lamb is the ram. And then Jesus becomes a carpenter, plows the fields. Jesus becomes a teacher at the age of 30. The third house, the zodiac communication. The sun reaches its height. We take 2 donkeys to the land of milk and honey. Those 2 donkeys, Aurelius Borealis, I forget the other one's name. Land of milk and honey is the Milky Way galaxy and the Beehive cluster. The sun walks sideways like a crab. Then Jesus has to fight a lion and is in the desert for 40 days and nights. Then Jesus makes his way to Galilee, which everyone's happy when the sun comes into Virgo. It's harvest season. Then we pass over the equator again. This is when the date trees start to die, palm leaves start to die, but we also get wine here out of harvest season. So of course, balancing judgment, Jesus kissed by the Judas, Scorpio kissed by Scorpio. The judgment of Pontius Pilate means comes from high water, armed with spear, where the sun dies on the center of 3 crosses. Right, so that's the very fast concept. The story of Jesus is the sun, right? And through these ages, the age of, we don't know much about Gemini, Taurus. Taurus is many gods. We all worship together. We worshipped based on celestial bodies, pantheistic kind of beliefs. So in order for us to pray to God, we would all have to pray in a community together based on a celestial event, like the full moon. Okay, well, here in Aries, the dawn of Judaism, it was more about, this is about the brain, and Aries is about the head and taking a relationship with God personally. During these ages, we still had blood sacrifices, which was just ridiculous. We can't offer blood sacrifices anymore and kill children and slaughter lambs every time we sin. So these individuals here created a solution and said, well, God killed his only son, the sun, S-U-N, that lights the world, whose reflection walks on water, the one and only son that does die for you. God killed his only one son and gave his one and only son so that you no longer have to create a blood sacrifice. And if you believe this story, Pisces is about belief. If you believe this story, you will live on, right? So, and we believed the story so much that now we're brainwashed to where we don't know what the truth is. And here we are in the age of Aquarius, the end of the Mayan calendar, December 21st, 2012. I'm saying all this fast, but you can rewind it. December 21st, 2012 is the age of Aquarius, this new age, the 2,160 year cycle. So these 2,160 years each forms a 25,920 year cycle, which is the wobble of the earth and known as the Great Year. Okay, so our ancestors understood this. We all understood this. And we're simply changing the times. So these Christians that are kind of going on about all their stuff that they're going on about, I'm sorry, it's not accurate information. It's just not accurate information, and it's putting scare tactics in the world, and they believe a story which was told and passed down to them, which was passed down to them, and passed down and passed down and passed down, that they don't understand. And it's okay, they haven't done the research, because when you start looking into things like Lucifer and Satan, it's like those things scare people, so they don't want to look at what that is. Lucifer means light bringer, Latin word, planet Venus, Saturn, Saturn, right? Anyway, so we have these scare tactics and delusion happening, and this is stuff that's not accurate information. But we have to believe that we're going to get through it. We don't know how, but we have to believe that we're going to get through it. We have to have belief and faith that we're going to come together, that we're going to be united again, right? Like we don't there's not like a clear and easy answer how we're going to get through these next chapters, but we have to have faith. Now, coming back to Venus being in Aries, Neptune being in Aries, that fact that no one's going to come save you means you got to save yourself. You have to love yourself enough to disconnect from social media. You have to love yourself enough to stop paying attention to what other people are doing that don't align with you and your goals in life. Like, again, the beaver might be really annoyed at the fox for digging a hole for some strange reason. The fox might be annoyed at the beaver for taking all the sticks and away and building its dam. Like, we don't understand every animal's reasons for doing what they do. Okay, human beings are the same. Like, we're just a bunch of frequencies. We're a bunch of different animals that are put into these human bodies, right? That's my philosophy anyway. Like, we're all just different animals, and we all have something different that we're seeking. And if the fox is so focused on what the beaver's doing, the fox isn't going to be able to build its den because it's sitting there. I just don't understand. Why is the beaver doing this? You know, it's like, because that's what a beaver does. And that's the goal of the beaver. That's what the beaver needs to be doing. And the fox needs to be doing fox stuff. All right? So part of this is no one's going to save you. You got to save yourself. So what are those things that are going to save yourself? Whatever you're going through right now, you got to bring love into it. And that love has to come from inside. It's heavy energy, Aaron. Just stay strong, friends. It's heavy. Staying strong, that triggers me. I don't like when people say to stay strong, right? This is that's bothersome. It's like, well, that's what's necessary right now. If we're tired, do it tired. You know, we have to maintain our own independence. We have to maintain our own strength with love. So if things are too heavy for us, we can look inside of ourselves and say, what's going on here? What is this heavy feeling? And can I transmute that energy? Can I change it? If this, you know, like, if sometimes when you win, it doesn't feel like a win, right? Like, sometimes a win still feels like a loss, sometimes. So that heavy energy that we might have come into with, and even if we won, whatever it is, the argument, the race, the job, the girl, the guy, the whatever, we don't, just because we won or crossed that bridge or did the thing, that doesn't mean the heavy energy feeling is going to just go away. You know, it's like a lot of people are like, oh, Donald Trump is the problem. And once that problem is solved, it's like there's just another one. And we have the same issues and the same problems. It's like, if that person's not sitting in the Oval Office, it doesn't mean all of our problems are just going to disappear. Most of that comes from inside, here and here, right? I'm pointing to my heart. But we can't. So it's like, so what is the heavy feeling that's in our hearts? And it's like our mind is unified, and it's like above and below. So can we do the mental work in being grounded? And this is what Uranus or Mercury in Taurus is all about, grounded. It's up to us to maintain a grounded position in life. And whatever we're doing, whatever we're coming across, is to be grounded. And it was pretty different when we had the retrograde energy and Mercury was moving through Aries. It was pretty self-righteous. And we, you know, silver tongue and spout off whatever we say, or had anger. And sometimes, my friends, anger is a better feeling than being depressed. And I'm pointing at Pisces because this is the confusion, the loss, the loneliness, the uncertainty, right? This is why we have to have faith in Pisces. Faith in oneself. And if we're getting angry, that's okay. At least it's better than being depressed and sad and hopeless. So now use your mind to be grounded the best you can. As we're coming closer into these days, you know, as we're in today, let's move forward today. What day is this going to be? Exact conjunction. Here you go. Look at that. And Mercury's right there too. So it's like our sun is going to conjunct Uranus in the next couple of days here this week. Mercury's going to come join and conjunct Uranus in the next couple of days. This is powerful breakthroughs if we allow them to happen, if we allow ourselves to break free. Meaning we have to loosen our grip. Meaning we have to take off our freaking armor. We have to recognize what's a fight and what's not a fight. Do we need to be fighting all the time? Are our minds in fight mode? And our minds are in fight mode no matter what's coming across. It's going to be aggravated, aggressive, Mars is over here in Leo, saying have confidence. Move forward with confidence. Who cares if the fox is telling the beaver it shouldn't be building a dam? The beaver's going to build its dam. Damn it. Right? This is like moving forward regardless. Like you have to make these big moves. And Mars and Jupiter, it's like we're entering the void. We're entering the void of the unknown. That's a mystery. It hasn't been written yet. This story hasn't been written. This chapter hasn't been written. And we have this mentality sometimes. It's just like, well, I can't just get in the car and go if I don't know the destination. Well, the universe is asking us right now to just go. Just kind of go along with it. Follow your intuition. And you'll be surprised in where it leads you. And when you're following your intuition and you're taking that initiative, that inertia to move forward. And because we have Mars in Leo, we have Venus in fiery Aries. This is like listening to our intuition and being pulled towards something. And we might not know, we might not understand. And if we're getting out of our left brain, out of our Virgo brain, because our Virgo mind is going to be like, no, this doesn't make logical sense. I don't need to go there. I don't need to go do something. I don't have to go do that. I can just do this instead. But if you're having the intuitive pull to go do that thing, there's something in the universe, in the cosmos, that's asking you to go on this adventure, to go have a human experience, to go step into the unknown, to step in this void, and we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to say when I sit down and talk about these things. This is something the universe that, with me, guiding me with astrology. I was telling my friend yesterday, we were chit-chatting about, she's an astrologer as well, and wants to put out astrology channels, and I said, the only advice I'll give you is just flow, right? And when I first started this channel, I used to jot down everything for maybe the first week of all these transits and whatnot. And now it's like the universe is asking me, Aaron, look at the chart, be able to have a conversation, and what comes up, right? And just be able to flow with it. I don't know where we're going to end. I know a couple key points, but this is the journey into the unknown. And a lot of times when I've taken this approach, a lot of times there'll be these lightning bolt, these little ding, ding, dings that come through. And it's like, oh, I'm supposed to talk about this. Or sometimes I'll go to a place and it's like, I look around, why am I here? Why did I get called here? And then somebody will come sit next to me. Or I'll have this conversation with somebody that's just like the most unbelievable conversation. It's like, oh, this is why I was called out. So it's like ignoring our logical mind a little bit and leaning a little bit more, right, to our Pisces brain, our right brain. That's just like follow your intuition, follow those nudges, and explore a little bit, right? We don't know where it's all going to go. We don't know where it's going to end up. So have fun in the creation process, being a little bit playful as well, right? The Leo energy loves to play. So it's like we have this cool time to be, we've got a lot of different energies going on between water, fire, earth, air, and then our these Mars and Pluto, these are higher frequencies of one another. This is about action, taking action, and active transformation. So the steps that we take on our personal life, our daily routines or whatever, has an effect on the community at large. And by us staying focused on that of which we love and desire, all right, that's the power. See, I didn't know this. I didn't know this is what we're going to come to. This is the conclusion. By us focusing on that of which we desire and not waiting for somebody else to come save us or something like that, by us focusing on that which we desire and taking the moves and putting those moves into action literally creates the healing in the community, the transformation in the community. Sometimes all it takes is somebody else to do something and then it's just like, oh, yeah, I can do that. A lot of times, look, like case studies, you see people like somebody fall. They've done these like studies, right? You can look this up on YouTube, where someone's just fallen on the side of the street, and depending on how they're dressed, if they're dressed bummy, people in their minds say, oh, that's a hobo, that's the homeless person, and they kind of ignore them. If there's somebody who's dressed a bit nicer, they're quicker to go help that person out. But the funny thing is how many people will pass by that person. Okay, they'll have the thought, but then they won't act upon it. I should help that person out. No, somebody else is going to come save them. Okay, now what happens is, watch these videos, they're out there. As soon as one person walks up and is the Good Samaritan, all of a sudden somebody else is like, oh yeah, I want to be the Good Samaritan too. And they're going to walk over and help out. Right? So it's like, it only takes a spark to get the fire going. And this fire energy right now is like your spark, your love, your desires, the things that you love. And if we stop focusing on what other people are doing, aren't doing, how they should be doing it, shouldn't be doing it, if you just focus on you and you come back to self, and then you start judging and rating your own self, how am I doing on a scale of 1 to 10? You know what? I haven't been doing a 10. Maybe I want to up my own personal numbers and make it a 10. You go out and start doing things, and then it inspires other people to start doing stuff too, right? And then this is how we lift each other up. This is how we change the world. And by having these conversations, grounded conversations, logical conversations. And in the next week, the next 2 weeks, as Mercury's going to start hitting Uranus, these grounded conversations are going to unravel the sweater, okay? It's going to untangle and unravel a lot of stuff, these conversations that we need to start having. We've been needed to have them. We've needed to have these conversations, and now they're going to happen, and they're going to be breakthrough conversations. And our whole position can change. Our whole observation in life could absolutely change, and we could realize, oh, I've been carrying some sort of anger or guilt or shame or projections toward the masculine or projections toward the feminine or resentment toward one or another, and it's just like, poof. Right? Or I've been looking at death this way, or I've been looking at life this way, or I've been looking at love this certain way, or I've been looking at marriage this certain way, and oh my God, this information explode my brain, the little head explode emoji, right? Where it's like, wow, I'm free of that. That's coming. So lastly, our full moon, right? Sun in Taurus, grounded. This is where you build a home on solid ground. Now, Taurus deals with my material possessions, my things. My possessions, my things. Across the way, in Scorpio, this deals with collective things. So oftentimes you can say it's like, all right, Aries is about self. Libra is about relationships, partnerships. So when you enter, let's say, a marriage, well, there's you, and now there's us, okay? So there's what's mine, and then there's what's ours. Okay, Scorpio is what's ours in this sense. Now we have a joint, which means there's a compromise, okay? All the art in my house, if I were to be married and meet somebody and they were to come join and live with me here, I would probably have to change my decor. I'd probably have to change certain aspects of my home or my design. I would have to give up certain things of myself for this compromise to work, okay? Considerately killing off aspects of myself. Not killing off aspects of myself in a negative way, but this is like a pruning of the leaves for this new leaves to grow. Okay, so it's considerately. How do you put that? Yeah, not killing. It's considerately changing aspects of ourselves for the greater good. And water deals with emotions, and Scorpio deals with deep emotions. Okay, do we need to observe or change aspects of our emotions for the greater good? Have my emotions been so? Have the waves been too big for you to ride? It's interesting, right? Have the emotional waves been too big for anyone to ride? And we have to look at the waves and say, can I ride that? No, not right now. It's not a good time. I could injure myself. I could hurt myself. And it's not the waves' fault. It's timing, you know? But then when we take this personally and say, well, what's mine? What's ours? On an emotional level, on a deep spiritual level, Mars is associated with Scorpio and, of course, with Taurus. Mars is in Leo right now, fire. Taking action, assertive action. It's not necessarily about emotions. This is about doing the noble thing, the right thing. So if you're laying on the beach and the ocean starts crashing over you, it's a wonderful feeling. If you're laying on the beach and the water now starts to come over your face to where you're starting to drown, you have to take action. You have to get up, otherwise you're going to drown. Okay? So it's like we can drown from other people's business. We're drowning in the river where the beaver's trying to build the dam, and it's because we're a fox and we should be building a fox den, a hole, whatever you want to call it. We're being buried under the avalanche of other people's problems instead of focusing on creating a foundation of ourselves. One way to look at it anyway. Friends, this is good energy. This is good energy. And right now, the moon's already into Sagittarius, so we're already having different conversations. The conversations are now lifted into expansion. And Gemini communication is where Jupiter's at. So it's like now is a time for more explorative, expansive communication, more explorative conversations. And then we get to have that bit of reflection of self, and it's like we get to look at our own emotional waves and how they're coming in. And am I creating the space to collaborate with other people? You know, the collaboration is extremely important right now. Are we creating the space for those collaborations to come in? All right, I think that's enough out of me for this particular astrology today. My friends, I love you. I wish you enough, and we'll see you soon.